Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Judy, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and today we are back to talk about the 1,000 Pound Best Friends, TLC's second most critically acclaimed television show, maybe future Emmy nominated television show. It's much harder for me to say that because I think the audience is less enthusiastic about the 1,000 Pound Besties, if I'm being honest. And we had a really good conversation about this on my Twitch stream just the other day because I was talking about how I just didn't feel particularly compelled, motivated, interested and watching the new episode, as in I was putting it off. I could feel myself putting it off. And some of that is for a variety of reasons. I mean, I also just have had a lot of anxiety the past week, and so I'm not generally motivated when I have anxiety, period. But I was feeling why am I not just super excited to go watch this show? And I think a lot of it is because it has just been so formulaic every week in this season. Every week it's been oh, we have the girls get together and eat some food. We have the girls get together to go do some silly kind of thing or workout or activity. And ultimately, in every single episode, one of the girls went to go and see Dr. Proctor. At least one. And so it just feels like that was rinse, lather, repeat. We weren't really getting to know them outside of that. I mean, there were a couple things that happened outside of that storyline, the thing with Tina's house, for instance, finding out that Ashley lost her job. But outside of those occasional small blips, there was nothing really happening on the show. It was nothing really new. There's not any conflict that is driving the storyline or pushing the story forward. I mean, I get that it's not scripted television, it's reality TV, but the best reality TV still has storylines that drive the season, the series, the episodes, etc. Do you know what I'm saying? And so far the only storyline we've gotten from this show is just that they're friends that want to lose weight, which is fine. I think that's something relatable for a lot of people. But I think the thing that makes it different from 1,000 Pound Sisters, for example, is that they have so many things that have just naturally come up in terms of creating drama, tension, conflict, and also things that are happening in their lives that are of interest. If I think about the 1,000 Pound Sisters, we've seen things like Amy, having kids, having a wedding. In yesterday's episode, we got to watch what they did for a memorial service for her dog that passed away. So it's you're getting so much more than just the weight loss narrative and storyline. It's still there. It's still present. It's still obviously a part of the show. But there's so much more than that that's happening over on the sisters. And in general, I just think that maybe, especially Ashley and Tina, first of all, let me be clear before I say any of this, I love all the girlies. I think they're all great people. And I think in particular, Ashley and Tina are just too normal almost for reality TV. They seem like normal people, that could be in my family that I would interact with. I think Megan and Vanessa initially made really good TV when they were on Too Large, but now I almost kind of feel they're too aware of the cameras and that they sometimes do things that are wackadoo for sure, but come across a little forced and scripted and unnatural. And so I think that that's really what the struggle of the show is right now, is letting us see more organically how these four individuals interact with one another, because almost everything feels set up, forced, etc. And very rarely do I feel we're getting glimpses into their authentic relationships with one another. But anyways, that's besides the point, because actually once I finally did watch this week's episode, I probably enjoyed it more than the past couple of weeks combined, to be honest. And the previews for next week's episode, I think, are also looking like they're going to spice up. There's going to be some conflict. There's going to be some interest. So, I'm hopeful. I'm not not giving up on my girlies. I also, like, really do want to see them succeed, and I am invested in that storyline. I think just in general, the show's a little bit boring in comparison to, like, some of the other things we watch on my channel. So this episode starts off with Megan going bridal shopping, and specifically she's shopping for a wedding dress. I don't know why I said it like that to begin with. She's shopping for a wedding dress with the girls. And Megan shares a little bit about what she would like in a wedding dress to start off with.
I like fit and flare.
Okay, fit and flare.
Yes. Where it emphasizes your goods and then covers up your...
And I do think it's important to bring that up because, like, she starts off talking about how she wants this, like, specific type of wedding dress. She seems very gung-ho about it. And that is not how she ends this little segment. And Vanessa would like her to try out something that shows off her back.
Have like an open back where the boobs are up and then it goes like that, and have the back open to where it's like down.
I have titties in the back.
No, my
tits would be down here. Oh my God. Other tits would be down here. We're not doing back.
So I love Vanessa. She's encouraging, but also like I said at the beginning of this video, a little bit wackadoo. But I also understand why that's probably not something that Megan wants in terms of like a dress for her special day. And all the girlies are allowed to put on and try on a veil just to get them in the mood for the try-ons. And Tina puts one on, and of course that leads to them saying that Tina and Ashley are gonna get married.
A little late to the party, but
I've been waiting for you.
Are you trying to marry me?
Yes.
How's it going?
And I'm mostly including this because somebody in my comments on last week's video said that they thought that the reason that Megan and Tina lived together was because they were lesbians. And I just thought that was so funny because I was like, girl, I don't know what show you're watching, but no, they're both they're both in committed relationships with men. So I think the thing that like breaks Megan's spirits about the whole wedding dress shopping experience is that, you know, they show a lot of clips of her struggling to get into some dresses. And she is also worried about, like, you know, if she does do what she's supposed to do for Dr. Proctor and continues to lose weight, like, she's not getting married until the fall. Like, what would happen if she lost a bunch of weight and then things didn't fit? Whoever, whatever. I don't really know how, like, dress alterations for fancy gowns like that work. I would assume you could get alterations a little bit closer to the day of your wedding to fix some of that, but I think it makes sense why she's concerned. And y'all, every single dress Megan tries on shows off the girlies.
Love that dress,
The girls are
baby.
sitting up. Hurts. I love it.
Now, we all know I like to showcase my girls because I feel like they're one of the only good things I got. But this is a little too much.
And honestly, I love that for her because I'm like, if you got it, flaunt it, girly. I guess I never realized that she had it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm not necessarily the one out here looking at that particular part of a woman's body. But like, I guess I never realized that she had it to flaunt. And actually, the final dress that Megan came out in, I agree, was just like absolutely Gorgiana.
Those are the highest your tits have ever been.
Oh my God.
You look amazing.
Can I
What
touch
the
you?
hell just happened?
I don't know. Look, it looks like I don't got no side boobs.
You don't.
You don't.
I was really taken back because I really didn't think I would look good in a dress. And damn it, those babies sat up. I was looking pretty good.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
But ultimately, Megan ended up being, like, not feeling it, didn't feel like it was her. She had a lot of concerns over, like, you know, maybe this isn't even what she wants for a wedding or a wedding dress, which I think is real, right? Like, I think that is a real feeling that probably came from, like, trying on a bunch of stuff and not feeling great about the way she looked in it. We're going to talk about it a little bit more because I think the other girls, like, interpreted it differently than I did, because in my head I'm just like, homegirl is just like not feeling confident about her body because she just tried on a bunch of dresses and a lot of them didn't fit the way that she would have liked them to. And, you know, when you've spent your whole life dealing with your weight, that's probably tough to get over or deal with. And Vanessa makes it a point actually to talk about how seeing Megan in this dress has really shown her like how far Megan has come, because like when we're first introduced to Megan on the Too Large episode, she was like nearly 600 pounds. And Vanessa's like, wow, just seeing all this progress is really amazing. But like I said, Megan wasn't entirely sure that it was the dress for her, and Vanessa, for some reason, takes this as a sign that Megan isn't excited about the wedding.
Megan doesn't seem as excited about this wedding stuff as I thought she would be. It almost seems like every time we start talking about the wedding, she seems like it's doom and gloom.
And I do have to say, I think some of that could be, it feels like maybe Vanessa's saying it about this particular instance, because we don't see Vanessa say that in the actual bridal shop to Megan. It's all stuff that happens in a confessional. And I do think it's interesting that every time this has come up for Vanessa, like her having reservations about Megan marrying John, that those reservations are shared with us through Vanessa talking in a confessional and not directly to Megan. So it seems like maybe it's something that's been on Vanessa's mind, but she hasn't shared publicly as much with Megan. And I'm curious what's going to happen when the time comes and Vanessa does share that directly with Megan, because I feel like it's going to result in a little bit of a blow up. A couple other things that happened during this segment is that Tina talked about her own relationship with her husband and how she had a small wedding and they didn't have the opportunity or money to try on all these fancy dresses or wear a fancy dress at her wedding. And she also shares a little bit about how she feels like she's struggling in her relationship with her husband, Johnny, which I think came up a little bit in last week's episode, and I think is going to actually become a little bit of a larger storyline for Tina on the show. And we also have this moment where Ashley brings up this wellness retreat that Dr. Proctor suggested last week that she should go on, and that she should go on it with all the other girlies. And Vanessa's ready to be rubbed and touched.
Yes, I want to go be pampered, be rubbed, be touched. Yeah, I'm down.
Which honestly, I need a massage too. You know, I'm not a big personal touch person, but I do love getting a massage. That shit is very relaxing. But I do just have to say, you know, I was talking a lot about how unnatural and forced a lot of this show seems on TLC's part, not necessarily on the part of the women on the show. And the way you know this shit is so manufactured is that, like, realistically, I don't think any of these girls would be going to this fit farm if it wasn't for TLC, like, paying for them to go and, like, setting this up and arranging this to happen. And I only say that because realistically, this is what we know about the women on this show, at least as of this season, okay? Ashley just lost her job, or at least that's what we were told in a recent episode of this show. Tina is working on getting her home back together after it was flooded, which I'm sure is not a cheap process to go through. Megan has to live in said flooded home because she can't afford a home on her own. And they haven't really talked about anything with Vanessa's financial situation, but the last season we saw her doing everything she could to scrounge up money to, like, feed her family, and we saw her doing things like eating on a budget and things like that. So I would just assume that she's probably not in, like, the best of places. And of course, I see a lot of people in the comments, especially when it comes to, like, Megan living with Tina and things like that, talking about, like, don't these women get paid to be on this show? They for sure do get paid something to be on the show. I, like, feel very confident in saying that to you all. I mean, I don't know the details of it or anything, but, like, most reality television programs pay the people who appear on their programs. You know what I'm saying? And so I think really the reason that doesn't come up as a part of these conversations is because that would, like, break the fourth wall, right? Like, that would break the fourth wall of this idea that, like, they know that they're on a reality TV show, and I don't think they like to present the show that way. So, could they be using their TLC money to go to this wellness retreat? I don't know. I suppose. Do I believe that's what's happening in this situation type of deal? No, I think TLC paid for them to go do this there. And to some extent, I'm sure this wellness center was happy for the free publicity. So before they make their way to this fitness center, this wellness center, whatever we're calling it, they go over to Vanessa's first to, I don't know. Well, actually, I do know what they go over there for. They go over there for putting up secret cameras to spy on Jacob. But before Megan and Tina arrive, Ashley and Vanessa are together talking about the retreat, and I think Vanessa's got her priorities in the right spot.
Do you think they'll have men for us to hook up with?
At the you know what? I don't know, but never say never.
So Ashley and Vanessa are both going to be on the prowl, and Vanessa already knows what she's going to do if she finds a man at this wellness retreat.
But I'm just saying, should you find somebody at the wellness retreat, I'll salute you and throw rice at the wedding.
Wilderness.
Oh, God, you're going to do it in the wilderness? Gross.
And listen, God bless Vanessa. She is a woman who knows what she wants, and she's ready to do it. But yeah, like I mentioned, Tina and Megan show up, and Tina brought with her some security cameras to hide in Vanessa's house to spy on Jacob.
So the other day, Tina was talking about putting in hidden camera. I got to thinking that may not be a bad idea. The retreat is for us to go and have fun and work on ourselves. I can't do that if I'm constantly worried what's Jacob eating.
And listen, I know that there's been a lot of back and forth about is Vanessa too hard on Jacob for his weight and what he eats and his movement and exercise and things like that, whoever, whatever. And I think everybody feels a little bit differently on her approach. There's a lot of mixed opinions on her approach to trying to encourage Jacob to get healthy, lose weight, whatever it might be. But I think the putting cameras in your home so that you can know everything your son is eating while you're gone is kind of too far. And not even kind of it is too far. I think it is, breaching any kind of natural trust you're going to have with your kid. It's going to take away his privacy. And if my mom did that to me when I lived with her, regardless of how old I was or when, where, whatever, and it being her house, because Vanessa's well, it's my house and I'm going to do what I want. Okay, yeah, if my mom did that, I would be mad and I would be distancing myself from her and also trying to get out as soon as I could. And I do get that it's her house and her rules and she can do whatever she wants in her house with her rules. But it doesn't make any sense to me that you would want to potentially risk the trust and sacrifice that trust in your relationship with your son just so that you could be watching what he is eating while you're away. And to be honest, I feel all that's gonna do is push him further away from what you want him to do. And he's also gonna find ways to be sneakier about getting the food he wants to eat. I've watched enough of these shows to know that one of the things that doesn't help is when people and parents overly monitor the food that their children are consuming. And when you do that to a kid, they find ways to be sneaky and sneak it, and then it becomes a place of shame for them because they know that they shouldn't be doing it, and then they associate shame with the eating, and it just piles on to the problems that they're already having. I mean, literally watch any My 600 Pound Life episode, and almost all of them have stories about how they had to start sneaking food so that their parents wouldn't catch them eating. So I feel all that's gonna do in this situation is encourage more sneaky behavior. But also, their hidden cameras weren't even really well hidden. I mean, truly, honestly, just look at them.
Yeah.
Thank goodness Jacob does not like coffee.
Oh, look at this.
Doesn't that look disguised? Jacob will not see that?
But I digress. I digress. So the girlies are driving to the retreat, and I'm honestly surprised that these girls really think that they're gonna go there for a relaxing moment and get massages and things like that.
Is it going to be facials and sipping champagne?
Mud bath.
People massaging our feet?
Yeah, mud baths. Feed me grapes.
It makes
Y'all have been filming this show for a minute now. I think y'all understand the formula. You go and work out in every episode in some shape or manner. You're gonna be working out, okay, besties? I know you're gonna be doing it. So let's just get that into her head now. Ashley shares her goals for weight loss surgery this time around because, as you know, if you've watched, she did have it once before when she was younger. And this time she says it's about getting healthy and also her desires to eventually have a baby.
You know, so I think that in addition to diet and exercise, making sure I stay on the right track, I'm going to jump on somebody's son's bones and make a baby.
And interestingly enough, they also talk about how, like, Ashley's like, listen, also though, you know, one day if I'm not physically able to have my own child, like, I am down to adopt as well. And Vanessa and Megan both offer up their own hypothetical, non-existent future children. And because of that, Megan really can't beat these lesbian rumors in my comments section.
Megan, are you going to carry my baby?
I would.
You know what? If I didn't want to cry these lashes off, bitch, I would cry. I would.
She's expecting some ass after that.
Oh my God. No, I knew it.
So the girls arrive to the old Fit Farm.
The first thing that goes through my head, fat farm. So you put an I instead of an A. Is this like just a sign that's out here to be cute, or is this what the wellness retreat is?
And this is what Tina called her, G.I. Jane. Her real name is Chris, but I think I'm going to call her G.I. Jane. G.I. Jane, with the clipboard, is waiting for the girlies. And she mentioned something about how this is about retreating from the life that they had. So when she says it's a retreat, you're retreating from the life that you had previously before that you're trying to get away from. And she lets them know that they're going to immediately go into a workout, like an assessment to see what they can do. So the girls go to where they're staying so that they can change. And honestly, Megan's having a hard enough time, a hard enough workout, just trying to get her luggage inside.
Oh, I have all this luggage and my cabin feels like a mile away. I'll be in a minute.
And I will say, if these girls really didn't know what they were signing up for, I do feel bad for them that this is what's happening. Like, I think it would be helpful for them to know, like, oh, you're going to get there and you're going to immediately work out. It seems a little effed up to just throw them in there. I mean, you can tell at least by the way they're all dressed that, like, they weren't ready to immediately start working out. So once they change, they're walking back over to old G.I. Jane, and she's already yelling at them, and it's not in a way that I feel like I would personally respond positively to.
Hey, yo, you guys, come on. All gas, no brakes.
And once they all make it to G.I. Jane, she makes them all weigh in for the beginning of the retreat. And they even have the hello, it's ready scale. I can tell, I can see her, I know what she looks like, but they don't even allow her to speak, which I think is honestly rude. So let me just give you a quick rundown of their weights, and I am going to be reading from my notes over here. So if you see me looking in a weird direction on the camera, it's because, listen, I don't have these things memorized. So Vanessa is at 280 pounds, which is about a pound of weight loss since like a week ago or something, I think she said. Tina was previously at 306.5 when she went to Daddy Proctor's office, and now she's at 300, so she just needs 4 more pounds to lose before she meets Daddy Proctor's goal. Megan was at 316 at Daddy Proctor's office, and she's now at 312.4, so she did also have a weight loss, and she needs to be at 300 to meet his goal. Also, chronologically, I don't recall them saying how much time had passed since they went to Daddy Proctor's office. And you know, this show and The Sisters, like the timeline of when it happened and when they splice all these clips and segments together doesn't always make a lot of sense to me. I don't always know what's going on. And then finally, Ashley weighed in at 362 when she last went to Daddy Proctor's office, and she's now down to 359 pounds. So every single one of them has made progress since the last time they weighed in for the television show. So the next part of this assessment that they make the girls do is just a bunch of push-ups and sit-ups. In particular, they have to do each of those things and see how many they can do in the span of 60 seconds. And I did not write down how many every single one of them did, because honestly, I don't care. Honestly, I'm least interested in that. But I think part of the reason I don't care is because, like, I understand how assessment works. Like, I was a teacher and we talked a lot about assessment. So, like, a thing we would often do as a teacher was assess students before they learned material to see how much they knew, where their skill set was, etc. And then assess them again after we did, like, our teaching lessons, right? So I get the idea of wanting to see, like, a before and after to see some, like, data about how well somebody has improved, but they're literally going to be there for 3 days. They're at this wellness center for 3 days. I mean, maybe they'll prove me wrong, but even if they're working really hard, it takes way more than just 3 days to make, like, a significant impact or difference on, like, your physical abilities and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But I guess we'll find out what their before and afters look like. I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious. But I'm like, 3 days, what's going to happen? And also, push-ups are just hard. I personally hate them. Anytime my trainer brings up the idea, concept, etc. of a push-up, I literally tell him to go fuck himself. I don't, actually. I would never talk to Dan that way. But it's my least favorite thing to do. So I can't even imagine being them, like, where they aren't working out often. And honestly, I agree with Vanessa's assessment of the things that I'm willing to push up.
Woo! Keep it up.
She's like, all right, give me a push-up. Push what? The only push-up we do is push that food up to our mouth.
And then when they were doing these sit-ups, they somehow got an overhead shot of the girls doing the sit-ups that we didn't have for whatever reason, of them doing the push-ups. And I just know it was TLC trying to be shady.
33, 34,
You go, girl.
35, 36,
Nice.
I'm done.
37,
You got 22.
39.
And then after the sit-ups and push-ups, they also then, I think, have to walk a half of a mile, I think is what they said. And I think they get timed, and then they see how much improvement they make on that over the span of time that they're there. Ashley starts off the whole situation type of deal saying that she doesn't know how the walk's gonna go because she's already in pain.
My ass hurts, so I don't know.
Your ass.
Yeah.
I got hemorrhoid pads if you need them.
And to be fair, they're all struggling to do this walk, or at least it seems that way. And what's so funny to me, though, is that they're all concerned about it, but Vanessa's just over here on the walk wondering if it's okay to call G.I. Jane and company bitches.
The bitch done worked us out.
Yeah.
Now she says,
Be
walk.
okay.
You
It's
sure?
not much further.
Can they hear me
Oh,
calling her
Ashley's
bitch?
not looking so hot right now.
I hope they don't mind us calling them bitch.
So Ashley's back and legs start really bothering her. She's not sure she's going to be able to finish. She's contemplating turning around and going back. And Vanessa and Tina specifically, I feel like have a good combo of, like, trying to encourage her, but also being, like, rightfully irritated because Ashley, TLC, but Ashley is the one that brought them here, right?
Ashley's quitting on us.
Blow it out your ass, Vanessa.
Dude, you brought us here. You can't
Tina,
quit.
I don't give a my back is hurting.
And I think it's just very interesting that we're seeing this side of Ashley because, you know, we've seen, I think, really all three of the other girls have some kind of, like, meltdown, breakdown, etc. at some point in the show, either in season 1 or this season. And so it's interesting that we're seeing this side of Ashley now. And it's also interesting to me that they seem to be still arguing over this in the confessionals.
Bitch, if that was a full sheet cake at the end of this line, your ass would push.
I'm at my breaking point, and I need y'all to understand.
You need to get out here and give it your all, period.
When you have your meltdowns, who's there for you? Me.
Because if you don't know how reality TV works, they film the confessionals, like, way after all of this stuff has already happened. Or maybe not way after, but it's all happened already. That's how they're able to talk about it. So, like, y'all are still sitting there, even after going to this Fit Farm, and you're still arguing with Ashley about the way that she approached going on this walk. But yeah, that's where the episode ends, with Ashley getting mad at all of them. So I'm sure the next episode will start with her sucking it up and finishing the walk, to be honest. That would probably be my guess, knowing how these shows work. And in general, next week looks really spicy, and I am looking forward to watching it because there's things like the girls confronting Megan about this marriage to John, Tina getting into underwear to go swimming, and Megan and Vanessa, like, are about to fight. And listen, I don't want to see any of the girls fight because I'm sure they're all lovely, nice people, and I would never want to encourage that. But the TV watcher in me, the person who loves drama on the television, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it. And honestly, obviously, I hope that they have resolved it and found a way to keep going. But I can't wait for next week, which is very different than how I started off this week, if we're being honest. So anyways, that's all I have time for today. I hope you all enjoyed this week's recap of the 1,000 Pound Best Friends. If you did and you're brand new to my channel, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the bell button so you get notifications every single time I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. I had so much fun today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!